Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. How are you doing, you beautiful people? Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. Welcome, folks. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope everyone's doing well. I'm going to say welcome on Instagram, so hopefully people will see it as well. Welcome. Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. My name is H. Terrence Bardui. Some people call me H. Some people call me Havis. Some people call me Terrence. Some people call me Mr. Bardui. And if you're from the 767 Whitey Kubuli, the Commonwealth of Dominica, you call me what? Little boy. You got to be from St. Luke's Parish, aka La Pointe. You call me Luca Boy. Dominica made me. Boston raised me. Now the South sustains me. How are you beautiful people doing tonight? Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to the show. I'm going to put on my Facebook page, it's showtime, so people can't tell me they're not seeing it. I'm going to say showtime. Let me paste it right there and say showtime. Hold on. So they can't say they can't see it. It's showtime. It's showtime in the neighborhood. How are you beautiful people doing, man? I'm going to check the markets in a minute, see how it's going for each and every one of you today. Hopefully you will say, man, the markets in a minute. Let me stop that so that everybody can see how it's doing. So again, welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. What I'm going to do is to put my theme song on so that everybody can take a look and see what's going on. So let's see, people are starting to pop up here. It's showing people have no excuse. I'm going to say add highlights. Let's try it. Tuesdays with Terrence so that the masses can join. I'm going to be reprimanding today. Some people are going to get mad at me. I'm not even talking about them, but they're going to think I'm talking about them. So again, welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. If you say hello to me in the chat, I'll be able to give you a shout out. If you don't say hello to me in the chat, I will not be able to give you a shout out. So there's a lot of people who watch my show and they're scared to come on and say hello. And I'm like, why are you scared to come on and say hello? Say hello in the chat so I can shout you out. I can shout you out and say, hey, Johnny, hey, Susie, hey, Billy. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play my theme song. Hey, Billy. Welcome. I love this. It's live. So what I'm going to do is play my theme song and we're going to start the show. All right, let's get it going. It's showtime. Boom.
Dominica made me, that's where it all began. Island breeze, coconut trees, the heart of my plan. From the hills and the smiles to the songs of the sea, that island spirit molded the person I'd be. Boston raised me with its hustle and grind. City lights shining, dreams intertwined. In the heart of this town, I found my way. A licensed financial pro, ready for the fray. On those snowy streets, learn to stand tall, navigating life, every rise, every fall. From the commons to the brownstones, I made my claim. With every lesson learned, I embraced my name. Yes! Boston raised me with its hustle and grind. City lights shining, dreams intertwined. In the heart of this town, I found my way. A A licensed financial pro, ready for the fray.
Yeah, let me get my drink on. Got my drink. Yeah.
Now the South sustains me with its warm embrace, a community of strength and love in every space. From the bayous to the beaches, I found my place. In this journey of finance, I've learned to chase grace. Dominica made me, Boston raised me high. The South sustains my soul as I reach for the sky. With every sunrise, I'm thankful and free. A licensed financial pro, just being me.
Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. Here comes the outro. The outro. Listen to
this. So here's to the roots that shaped who I am. From Dominica's beauty to Boston's Grand Slam. In the South I stand strong, with purpose and pride. Together with my journey, side by side.
Yes. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. My name is H. Terrence Bardui. Some people call me H. Some people call me Havis. Some people call me Terrence. Some people call me what? Little boy. And if you're from the 767 Whitey Kubuli, the Commonwealth of Dominica, tall is her body. And you're from the parish of St. Luke, a.k.a. Point Michelle, a.k.a. La Pointe, you call me Luku Boy. Dominica made me. Boston raised me. Now the South sustains me. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, subscribe to my channel. For those of you who are watching on whether my personal page or my business page, follow me. For those of you who don't know anything about what I do, still follow me. And if you don't like what I say or what I do, you can stop following me. But guess what? You all followed everybody else. Why can't you follow me as well? Okay. Anyways, tonight I have a great show for you. It's called Tax-Free Retirement Tips. You know, we've been talking about this for the last 10 years. I have been, at least, or longer than that, I think. But on Tuesdays with Terrence for the last going on 7 years. So I'm going to give some tips. Mary Joseph, how are you? Good evening. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. Glad to see you in there. I hope you're subscribing to my channel. I hope you're following me and you're doing all that good stuff. Hope you're doing well this evening. And to anybody else who out there who's watching, welcome to the show. You know, there's a lot of people who watch and for some reason they don't say anything. And it's okay. No, everybody's not me. If you're watching your show and you are on, I'm talking to you in the chat. I'm saying stuff. I want you to know I'm there. Maybe I got a big ego. Maybe I don't, but maybe I do. But the point is, social media is for interaction, and I capitalize on those strategies. Anyways, welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. We have a new month coming up next month, August. In August, I think I'm going to have some guests on my show. I haven't had guests in a while. I don't think I've had any guests this year. I've been doing the solo trip or tip. I remember in years past, in March, I've had women for Women International History Month. For June, I've had men. I've had a lot of my colleagues have been on there. I've had the psychologists, I've had attorneys, I've had medical doctors, I've had, pharmacists, I've had clinicians, I've had a bunch of people on my show. But most of the times when I come on, I try to educate people so they understand what their rights and option is. Tonight, I'm going to give you some tips, even though whether you are 20 years old, 30, 40, 50, 60, if you live in the continental United States, I'll be able to help you. But if you live in the United States of Canada, some of the tips I give, you can use it there. If you live in other jurisdictions, it's one of those things. You know, you're doing great, Merrick. That's good. That's good. Let's keep doing great. Keep doing great. So I hope everyone's doing well tonight. What's the word? Hey, let me take a sip of my drink. Do you guys know what drink that is? I can't tell you all, man. It's for big people. So I put my pinky up. That's a big person's drink, man. You got to be a certain age. You got to be you can't be a child and having what I'm just drinking. That's for adults. But anyways, welcome to the show. Let's take a look. When we start, every time we do the show, we look at markets. We see how the markets did for the day. It's been very choppy lately. Um, Okay, the Dow Jones was up 537 points. That's actually really good. The Nasdaq has been down. It was down today 55.17 points. So it's down 24,876.91. It was over 26,000 earlier this year. So it's down 2,000 points. So tech stocks are taking a beating. All right, tech stocks are taking a beating, and the S&P, the Standard and Poor's 500, was up 15%. So right here it says that let's see, you got an unexpected. We'll talk about that too. Just looking at the markets, man, the volatility, has been affecting some individuals, but my clients don't worry about that. They don't lose a penny. I try to teach my clients about, especially the ones who are in their 50s and 60s. If you're 60s, you're close to retirement, and I try to teach them how to maintain and protect what they've already amassed. Their nest egg. Your nest egg it should have no cracks in it. So tonight we'll talk about some strategies of what you can do to help supplement, because if you're older, you don't have much time. Now, if you're in your 20s or 30s or even 40 years old, and you got about 25 years to go, you can really ratchet it up and do a great job in your retirement. So for those of you who are watching, welcome, welcome, welcome. I never take it for granted. Excuse me, you could have been doing anything else on a Tuesday night. I'm going into my 7th year. On February 4th next year will be 7 years. Every Tuesday I do this. I've sacrificed a lot of things for this: anniversaries, birthdays, um, uh, you name it, vacations. No matter where I'm at, I got to do my Tuesdays with Terrence. And it's one of the things I take great, 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 great pride in. So I take great pride in educating. And I'm going to make a disclaimer and a disclosure here. If you're my Facebook friend, or you follow me, or you on YouTube, you subscribe to my channel, or on LinkedIn, we've partnered up on LinkedIn, X, formerly Twitter. I stream on that as well. Instagram, I do that as well. But if you've been my friends on any of those platforms, right? So I'll take a look. I see June's watching tonight, my big sister, and Mr. Jansen Casimir Sekafet. Hope you're doing well. Um, and some of the strategies that I've been talking about, and you haven't been using them, shame on you. I don't shame people in the Caribbean or in Europe, South America, Central America. There's some people who are in Canada who used to watch back in the day. They don't watch anymore, maybe because they get tired of me yelling and screaming about people, telling people what they should be doing. And that's fine. And there's some people who religiously used to watch it. They don't watch it anymore. They still share my content for whatever reason, and that's okay. Because just like watching a sitcom, after a while you may get tired of it, although it's a good sitcom. Like Cheers, what other ones? Good Times, the Jeffersons, all of them, they went off. I'm contemplating shutting this thing down. But I decided I was going to shut it down this year. But you know what? Someone said, why would you do that? I look forward to the stuff that you talk. So this maybe I'll go a little bit longer and continue to articulate. There's people who usually come on my show or come into my I'd say my DMs and say, yeah, I'm watching, and I'm like, fine. Like, it doesn't matter if you're young, old, or in between. I appreciate your time that you spend listening to me pontificate, educate, teach you how to eradicate debt, teach you how to protect your income and create legacies for your families, your children, your grandchildren, or husband, wife, or whoever is an important factor or staple in your life. So we just looked at markets. The Dow is up, the Nasdaq is down, and the S&P is up 15 points. And you might say, well, if you watch CNN or some of the other huge networks, whenever they try to corner people on what's going on, people say stuff like, "Oh, the market is an all-time high." In every presidency, the market was as an all-time high. I remember when the market was 6,000, 5,000 back in the late 90s, and it's gone up and up under every presidency. So it's not the president that's doing any damn thing. It's markets, it's consumers, and people are doing things. I want to say welcome to Miss Peach Goodwill. Good to see you tonight. I know you've been very busy lately, but you make time to watch Tuesdays with Terrence. I appreciate that. You don't have to. Thank you for your support. So, anyways, like I was saying, people, the market it's a good thing, but there's risk, and I'm not a market adverse. I don't, people who have 401ks, 403bs, 457s, TSPs, 401as, and thrift savings plans and all of those. I always tell them, even if they have an IRA or Roth IRA and it's in the securities, I always tell them, hey, if your job is giving you matching contributions, nothing is wrong with taking the contribution up to the match, and everything after that, you're wasting money. You're not wasting money, but you're not using it effectively. I need to change my terminology because sometimes people feel like I'm insulting them. I watched a video today. Anybody who's interested, who text me in a DM and tell me you want it, and I'll send it to you. And the guy was talking about men and women, what men say, what women say. If a man says something, women interpret it a certain way, and men interpret it a different way. So I have to watch my tone. Especially most people who watch Tuesdays with Terrence are women. So I want to make sure I use the proper jargon or the proper terminology to explain my point of view. So what I'm saying here is I'm not opposed to people where companies decide to give you a contribution, for working there. First of all, they give you a bunch of funds and they tell you, you pick one. You don't know which ones to really do. If you don't have the experience or you don't know which one to pick. And the government, you think the government is giving you a tax break. 401ks are not tax breaks. They're tax deferments. You know what the difference between a tax break or something that's tax-free or something that's tax deferred? Deferred just means you got to do it later. You haven't had a student loan for you or your children and you put a deferment or forbearance. The deferment don't mean that you don't have to pay it. It means you're going to pay it later, and then interest is accruing, and taxes. Do you control taxes? If you're in the continental United States, do you control taxes? You don't. Congress does. They write laws and bills, and they send it to the president, and he signs it, puts it into the big, beautiful bill for the wealthy. Did you control that? Nah, they do. So it's really, 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 really important for those of you watching tonight to listen to what I have to say. I don't care how much you earn. I don't care if you earn 25,000. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100, 200. I don't care what you earn. You need to start using some of these strategies if you're not using them. Now, I hear people talk about Roth IRAs all the time. I don't have a problem with that. You got to fund it, can't access it for 5 years, or where you got to wait till you're 59 and a half. But then you're capped in what you can contribute. If you're 50 or older, you can contribute a little more. But there's other strategies and programs you can use that's better than that. What if you're an entrepreneur and you're making some good money? Or even if you are working in corporate America or working for a company and you're making good income. What if you were like my father? You were very thrifty and you were a saver. A lot of people are not savers. Most people are spenders. But if you're a saver, I applaud you. Now, I want to make it very clear. I don't want to sit there and tell people you shouldn't spend. You can't just work, and die. No. But you have to budget for it is what you want to do. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's vacations. I don't care if it's trips. I don't care if it's your massages, hair, your nails, your going on the boys trip, whatever it is, you got a budget for it, right? And when you don't do that, you start cheating yourself because you're losing opportunity costs by taking money out that was not assigned for whatever that item or that situation that you're using it for. So what we try to do, we try to tell people for the longest time, the IRS has created codes. Like when you have 401k, 403b, 457, TS, thrift savings plan, all those are just IRS names for the all of those things are all retirement related. You know, they just have different names. They're qualified. You see, there's two kinds of monies. There's qualified money, which is your IRAs, you know, your SEPs, you know, your they used to call them KEOs and all that stuff. You know, your Roth IRAs, your 401ks, 403bs, 401as, 457s, and TSPs, thrift savings plans. All of those are called qualified accounts. Okay, qualified just mean that they're tax infested. In other words, the government has set up special rules and regulations for you, for them, except the Roth if you structure it properly and use it properly. But then again, you're capped. So you try to tell me you're making $400,000 a year, you know, and you can only put $8,000 in. I mean, think about it. And there's limits for people to get, you know, your income. If you're single or filing joint, there's different limits that you have. But there is a way that you, John Doe, Jane Doe, or put your name in the chat and call this and call it, I don't know, call it your retirement plan. You know, don't call it a 401k or 403b. Call your name out, like Mary Joseph, the Mary Joseph retirement plan. You hear that? You can call it whatever you want to call it, but you have different vehicles that you can use to do that. And then when you do that, you get to access it in the future. A lot of people, how would I say this? Man, I call my age out all the time. I'm 61. I'll be 62 this year. And for years, when I was 13, my mom was 53. I thought she was an old woman. I'm 62 this year. I think I'm a young buck. Now, my body don't feel like that, but my mind, you know, remember that song? Your body's here with me, but your mind's on the other side of town. My mind is here, but my body's on the other side of town because it can't work like it used to work, right? But what I can tell you is simply this, folks. It doesn't matter where you have your retirement funds in. That's a good thing. I need to applaud you. So give yourself a pat on the back when you start doing that because you've already put something aside somewhere, right? However, what you have to start doing is take your stuff out of tax-infested stuff, you know. Remember I said to you, your company is matching up to a certain degree or a certain amount, right? That's okay if your company's doing that, right? But what you want to do is make sure that you're doing something yourself that's going to benefit you and it won't be tax infested. When a retirement is tax infested, you get less. So I was talking to someone, you know, in the DMV in Maryland who has about $950,000 at the time in their thrift savings plan, government savings plan. Well, I've been trying to work with this individual to move some of that money and protect it. So the person thinks they have 950. Nah, this person is about 62, 61 and be working for like 40 years or 35 years. Let's say they started at 21, 31, 41, 51, 61, 40 years, right? They've been working for 40 years and they have $950,000 in their 401k or their thrift savings plan. You actually don't. I have a client I was talking to last year in Massachusetts who had about 950,000 in their 401k, and I showed them why all that don't belong to them and why at that age you need to protect some of it. Now, there's some other strategies that the person could have used, you know, to help fund their retirement. But this person, they were actually debt free. They didn't have a mortgage. I think they had an equity line of credit, but they could pay that off. No car loans or any of that. So they took my advice and they moved some of that money. But I'm not talking about those kind of transactions. I'm talking about too many times people hear me talking about income protection, debt elimination, and legacy creation. If you look at my business card, it talks about, we are here to serve as agents of change, right? For families and helping them protect their income, eliminate debt, and create financial legacies. Almost everybody who's watching, I'm going to go off on a limb, including me. Everybody who's watching this is probably in debt. We're not talking about your utility bills, your cable, your trash bill, your light bill, your water bill, your gas bill. We're not talking about that. We ain't even talking about your subscriptions that you have with Netflix and YouTube and Apple and Pandora, wherever there's different things that people have. We're not talking about that, all right? I'm talking about debt, a mortgage, student loans, credit cards, car loans, personal loans, equity line of credits. Some people have medical debt. Maybe they have a high deductible account and they have debt. I recently was in the hospital for an emergency. I'm fine. My leg is fine, but I got a bill today. I mean, look it up. I bet you it's like $500 and something. I get the bill right here. See the bill? Let's open it up to prove my point. Now, so if I rip this bill open, it came in the mail today. Wow. I thought it was $500. My out of pocket. It's over $1,000. Right? Well, I'll pay that off next month. The point I'm trying to make to you folks is simply this. We all have debt. Now, if you have $1,000 debt or $500 debt, that's manageable. But if you have thousands, the average American is over $168,000 in debt. I think they say 138,000, 168,000. I can't remember. The average American, that's the average. You put cumulative everyone together. Some people, their mortgage, they owe $400,000, $500,000, $300,000, $200,000, $100-something grand. So what I do, I try to teach people how to eliminate those debts. But I also teach you how to have a tax-free retirement. The younger you are, the better you are positioned to handle that. Because the older you are, you have to put an absorbent amount of money into that strategy. But if you're young, you can start with $100 and then $200 and $300, $500, $1,000. Sometimes with that strategy that you're saving towards a tax-free retirement, you can even actually use that for vacation sometimes and pay it back. You see, most people, when they go on vacation, they either finance it through credit cards or they borrow or they ask somebody. And some people save, they do. But when you use that money, you've interrupted compounding. In other words, you have a $10,000 retirement account. Vacation account. You spend $5,000 on a vacation. Well, you only have you're only earning interest on $5,000. But if you had the concept I'm going to talk about in a second, $10,000 and you use $5,000 for this vacation, you still have $10,000 in that account. Now you got to pay it back. But when you pay it back, when you pay back a debt, like for those of you who own a home, right? When you first purchased your home, in the first few years, good evening, Beth Amato. I haven't forgotten you, Beth. The first few years, you're paying taxes on, you're paying interest. You're not even tackling the principal. You're paying interest. So as that keeps coming down, you start paying on the principal. But when you use your savings account or other ways, you're interrupting compounding. If you use credit cards, then if you're not going to pay off your credit card in full, um, it's it means you're paying finance charges. Now, I'm not picking on anyone here. I always make my disclaimers. When I talk about this thing, I'm not talking about anyone's situation. I'm just talking about in general. Okay. So we were at a training last week for my agency, American Classic Agency, and our one of our trainers, one of my uplines, he was talking about, he uses credit card every month, but he pays it off in full. So he never pays finance charges. Now, I was looking at a couple of my credit cards there, and they had, one had like a $300 balance. I paid that off. One had like a $700 balance. One had $100 something. I paid it off. But I don't do that all the time. What I'm saying to you is that if you have using the strategies I'm about to talk about, yeah, you're paying interest, but you're paying yourself back. When you pay a credit card company, you're paying a finance company back. When you pay your mortgage, you're paying the mortgage company back. When you pay your car loan, the finance Toyota or whomever it may be, Jaguar or Nissan or Ford, you paid the credit union. You're paying them finance charges, right? Student loans. I forgot the name of the companies of student loans back in the day, but you're paying those back, right? You're paying those companies back. What you have to start thinking about is creative ways to change the trajectory of how you use money, how money works, and how debt works, and how retirement works. So I always tell people, when you get paid, the first thing you got to do, if you go to church, you got to return a tithe and a liberal offering. And the next thing you do, you pay yourself. Everybody else can wait. Everybody else can wait. And you're like, no, they can. Yes, they can. Because if you miss one car payment, it'll affect your credit. But you miss one mortgage payment, it'll affect your credit. But it's not. They're not gonna put your house in foreclosure with one payment. You know what I'm saying? Or they're not going to repo your car. They tell you, hey, you owe a payment. You got to get it in. Get it in. But what happens is that when it's tax stacks up, but life happens. So we have to be more disciplined in our spending. I was talking to someone recently who sent me their credit report, and they were telling me, they're excellent now. And I'm very proud of that individual, because a few years ago, I told them what they should do, and they did it. They're doing better than me. I'm proud of them. And the key here is making sure that you're disciplined. Whatever your vice is financially, if it's, you got to cut it off, not literally, figuratively. If it's something like this, or you can't afford it, you got to, first of all, you have to think about, how am I going to realistically eliminate my debt? And we have a debt elimination program that we can talk about, but we're not going there. We're talking about, if you're paying yourself for retirement, you can access funds in the future. Now, I was going to do an illustration, but I hate doing illustrations on my lives. You know why? Because the illustration is not really good. Some of you may say, well, what is he talking about? Well, get on my calendar, get in my DM. You know how people will be slipping into your DMs trying to get your phone number, want to take you to lunch or dinner? Well, slip into my DMs and say, hey, I heard you talking about tax-free retirement strategies. What did you mean by those tips? What kind of tips? So one of the first tips I'm going to tell you is simply this. You can use life insurance as a retirement planning tool. You can use life insurance as a retirement planning tool. See, a lot of people think life insurance is to benefit someone else when they die on a tax-free basis. Yes, your husband, your wife, your children, your boo, your side piece, your whatever, I don't know. That's none of my business. But what I do know is that you can use life insurance constructively to create wealth for you. There's ways you can set up what we call an infinite banking concept plan, a 7702 IRS code 7702. Google 7702. All right. And you can overfund that. Now, some people might not be able to overfund it because their income is funny or limited, right? I was talking to someone the other day, and we were talking about putting something together, and they were telling me Jesus is coming soon. And I'm like, you know the date? Man, come on. Yes, he's coming soon, but you got to live like he's coming tonight, but plan like he's coming in 100 years. Because they told me that 60 years ago or 50 years ago. My point I'm saying is, I don't feel sorry for anyone who does not take my advice and they get themselves in a conundrum. I don't. You know why? Because if you're following me, you may not like how I say it. Forget about how I say it. Listen to what I'm saying. You can hate the prophet. You can hate the speaker, the presenter, but the information that he's giving is what's paramount to your lifestyle or to your life. I have to say it in a sweet and sexy and soft way for you to want to listen. I can do that, but that's not my style. I don't blame anyone who've gotten themselves in a conundrum. I only blame those who are in a conundrum and do not want to do anything about it, do not want to take advice. They don't want to listen. I was talking to someone the other day and I was giving them some advice, and they call me for advice, but they want to tell me what to do. And I'm like, yo, I wanted to say, you call me. Let me tell you. I wanted to say, you call me. Let me show you what I know, and then you can put it into practice. So, what you can do starting today, some of you can do $50. Some of you can do 100. Some of you can do, several hundred. Some of you can do 1,000. At my agency, American Classic Agency, our average premium is like $2,500 a month. You're like, what? Who got $2,500 of disposable income? Well, people don't. But people, you see, we will plan for exorbitant, I can't even say the word right, extraordinary things in our lives because it matters to us. And we will plan for that. But we will not plan for that rainy day. So that down the road, you can start. You see, your 401k, when you get it, you got to pay the taxes that you deferred for the last 40 years. And back in the day, it was the 40-40 plan. You work 40 years, 40 hours a week, and you had 40,000 retirement. That's not the American dream. Nowadays, some of you are balling, shot calling, you're educated, you're making six figures and higher. And yeah, good. I'm proud of you. But how much of that do you retain? How much of that do you save? Most people don't. And there's people watching now, we'll never call them out, who I know for a fact has been saving. I'm watching someone right now, one of my clients right now, who, their name, and, they've taken my advice and they're putting the stuff in place. Folks, it's not about wealthy and non-wealthy or upper middle class or poor. It's about what you're doing with what you earn. So if you put some funds away in the future, you could access some of it. It's going to supplement your Social Security. It's going to supplement your 401k, because remember, at age 73, you have to take what's called minimum required distributions. After age 59 and a half, you can take your qualified. Remember, we talked about qualified and non-qualified plans. You can start taking money out of there, but you still have to pay the taxes. But with the 7702, Google that. 7702 IRS code 7702. You can use those. And the IRS structure it that if you set it up the right way, using the right strategies with the right people who know what they're doing, you could access it in the future tax free. I'm going to ask you guys a question. It's not a trick question. What if you can go back to when you were 22 and all these strategies that I'm talking about, you say to yourself, you know what? When I'm 52 or 55 or 50 or 60, I can get a guaranteed lifetime income of 100 grand a year tax free. Or I can contribute to a 401k and then I can't access it before 59 and a half. And if I do, um, I have to have a disability or I have to have a medical situation or my kids going to school. And I got to, they allow you to take money and penalize you or you take loans. Would you rather have that or would you rather have monies that grow in the market, right? And then you owe 28, 30, 45, sometime up to 45% based where you live on taxes. Folks, a tax-free retirement strategy, even if you're in your 50s, is still available. Yeah, you got to have an income. You can't say I don't have an income or, and don't worry about the Joneses. Don't worry about what the Joneses are doing. Concentrate on what you are doing. I know I have friends who are younger, in their 20s and 30s, people that I know, and some in their 40s as well. And I've been admonishing them for years now. I can specifically think of one guy I've known for next year will be 20 years I've known him. And I was trying to, give him some pointers and some stuff. And, sometimes people don't like taking advice from people that they know regularly because they think they don't know what they're talking about. First of all, I want to be blunt with you guys. Don't ask me on advice on cutting grass, laying sheetrock, painting, cutting trees, doing roofs, doing hair, cutting hair. Don't ask me jack about that. I don't know. As a matter of fact, I don't want to know. Don't ask me how to change your oil in a car. I don't want to know. I'll go get an oil change over there and pay someone to do it. I don't want to know. Now, those of you who can do it, I applaud you. You can go to YouTube University and learn how to do anything. I applaud you. But when it comes to financial literacy, someone I know for over 40 something years says, I don't take advice from people on Facebook. I'm like, I didn't tell them that, but in Dominica, there's something they call an ass and there's a damn ass. There's an ass and a damn ass. If my father called you a damn ass, you're worse than an ass. You're worse than a donkey. You're a damn donkey. The point I'm trying to make here is that all the companies that you guys deal with have a social media presence. There's ads I see for JP Morgan Chase, Citibank, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Fidelity, Vanguard, Empower, Prudential, John Hancock, Sun Life Canada. All these companies have social media pages. They got Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok. They even got TikTok. And they're putting their stuff on there. You're listening to them. Now, you can say, I don't like you, and that's cool. But don't tell me you're not going to take advice from someone. I've been doing this going on 7 years in February coming and giving the advice to people free. It doesn't cost you. People have asked me, how much do you charge when I have appointments with them? I could have been a weasel and charge them amount. The only way I'm going to charge you, if you keep ghosting me for an appointment and then you want to meet with me, you're going to have to pay me $500. but there's no charge to meet with me. There's no charge to spend an hour or 30 minutes with me. You know, 15-minute consultation. It doesn't cost you anything. There's people who are procrastinators because they told me, one of my friends told me they're a procrastinator. They said, I know you're a procrastinator. Maybe she's watching. We went to high school together. You know, she's done very well, but I want to protect what she has for her. Folks, you can use tax-free retirement strategies while you're working now to help supplement your retirement. Some of you who did not know, I don't blame you. You didn't know. You retired or you're no longer working or you're close. You didn't know. I don't blame you. But your children should be using those strategies. They should be. And if they're not, why aren't they? Why? Why aren't they? Folks, it's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. But if you don't know, you don't know. I can show you how to put something in place. And if you don't want to do that, put something in place to protect your income for living benefits. There are some people nowadays, this is young people making a lot of money, making $8, $10, $20,000 a month using social media strategies. Some people are doing TikToking and Instagramming and Facebooking and Xing and whatever the other social media programs are, Instagramming. And these people are making a lot of money. Some of your kids are making more money than you ever earned. Are you telling them, have you ever listened to Tuesdays with Terrence? Have you ever thought about talking to Terrence Bardui, Havis Terrence Bardui? Terrence, little boy, Mr. Bardui? Have you ever thought about suggesting that to them? And the key here is simply this, folks. I don't care if you live in Canada or if you live in the continental United States, you can do it. Now, some of you in the continental United States, I know some of you have some health challenges, but you can do what we call second to die and use that schedule to help still fund, because some of you may have some health challenges. Life happened for you. Your body's broken down. So when we get older, stuff happens. And I want to use another word that starts with S. But you know what? You got to have a strategy. A goal without a plan is just a wish. You have debt. Let's help you strategize and plan a way to get you out of debt. You're going to have to change your living, though. You're going to have to change things that you love to do. You can't be in debt and continue to do the same freaking thing over and over. It's called insanity. You know, want different results, but doing the same thing. You don't want to listen to nobody. You get sensitive because someone tells you, because you don't want to hear it. Come on, man. You're not a fool. You people are not stupid. Change what you've been doing. If it hasn't been working, what does it cost you to change what you're doing? What does it cost you, folks? So for tax-free retirement tips, if you're in your 20s, 30s, or 40s, you're ideal. If you're in your 50s, you can still do it, but you got to jump a whole lot into it. In your 60s, you could do it too. If you're making a whole bunch of money, you could. Or you can save it for your legacy, your beneficiaries, your children, your grandchildren. You know, my daughter's getting married next year. She has one of those that I'm talking about. But when she gets married, I already told her and her fiance, you know, I want grandkids I'm giving you guys 2 years. Now, it could be quicker, but I'm giving them after 2 years, you got to pump up some grandkids. Give me some grandkids. It's something like it's my responsibility. No, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them a start. Start with that concept, that 7702 for them, and let them, and fund it. fund it for them. And when they get old enough, whether your kids or your grandkids, some kids are responsible, some are not. So keep, instead of giving them PS4s and these stupid gifts, wanna some people will spend money on their children frivolously to please their children or their grandchildren, and they think they're doing them a service. You're not teaching them a damn thing. What you're teaching them is that, mommy and daddy's gonna take care of you. But you ain't always gonna be there. And if you want to do that for your kids, go ahead, but make sure you have a big ass life insurance policy so that when you die, they can get all that money to help sustain the lifestyle. Pay off your house that you're leaving for them that they don't want. If they have their own house, they're gonna sell it anyways and get the money. What they want is the money. You think I'm being a jerk? I'm being totally honest with you. Your advisor won't tell you that, but I will, because I have no filter. When you die, and you're gonna die, the house that you leave for your children, if they have their own house, they're gonna sell it and take the money. And if you don't structure it properly, have a living revocable trust and different things you can do. If you don't do that, then they're gonna have to pay capital gains tax on the increase of because you bought a house for 200 grand, you die, it's worth 600 grand. They gotta pay capital gains. Learn the strategies, folks. It's not too late. Listen, I know you love your kids. I love mine too. Good evening, Fifi. Good to see you, and Beth Amato and everybody else who's watching. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. I know you love your kids and your grandkids, but show them at a very early age. Like I tell people now, when your child is 2 weeks old, you create one of these 7702 plans for them, and you start funding it. And when they get a little part-time job, they got to help fund it. And when they get out of college and they have a job, they have to fund it. You control it. It's for them. Don't be one of them stinking parents who, do it for them and then you want to use it for you. But it's for them. If it's your money only, you can do whatever you want to. But give them a head start, like some of the other ethnicities do. People who look like me, we don't do that because we have a stigma. We have these, different things that we think about. Give your kids an early start. Let them, financial literacy is key. Financial literacy is key. Make sure your children know some of the strategies that's out there so that, you can't have kids in their 30s, 20s, 30s, 40s, and they come to you every time they have an issue because they're not saving either. I'm not picking on this generation because they're very good. They know in social media, AI, people doing AI stuff and making money. Well, where are you parking that money? Don't put it in a bank and don't put it in a 401k. Put it in strategies that's going to assist you and help you do the right thing. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. Some of you don't want to do that, because, well, I don't want to, what? Some of you are not, teaching your kids the right strategies. And it's not because you're bad. It's because, you don't know. And if you don't know, talk to someone who knows. Talk to someone who knows. Talk to someone who knows. My name is H. Terrence Bardui. Some people call me H. Some people call me Havis. Some people call me Terrence. Some people call me Mr. Bardui. Some people call me Little Boy. If you're from the 767, Whitey Kubuli, the Commonwealth of Dominica, tall is her body. And you're from Point Michelle, St. Luke's Parish, aka La Pointe, you call me Luku Boy. I always tell you guys, Dominica made me, Boston raised me, now the South sustains me. Folks, you can use some of these strategies today. I made a post the other day and it said this. Someone asked me for a fish. I told them no, but I could teach you how to fish. You see, some people want a handout. Some people want entitlements. Some people are entitled. But if you don't show people how to fish, they'll always be hungry because you always got to give them a fish. There's a Jamaican restaurant I go to get some food sometimes. This lady's always sitting there. I don't know what her situation is, but she's always out there on the ground. I feel bad for her. Maybe she's schizophrenic. Maybe I don't know what her situation is. I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about you all who have a job. You all who go to work every day. You all who have a mortgage, and student loans, and credit cards, and car loans, and equity line of credits, and personal loans. Eliminate those debt and have a beautiful retirement. In your retirement, you should be balling, shark calling. Some of you like to travel. Like I was watching today, I saw some of my friends, they're traveling in Europe and different places. I applaud that. But you can't be traveling all over the places and you're not saving for that when you're done working. You see, in my case, I pray to God that I never lose my eyesight or I become disabled. But I'm going to be doing this till I die, till I can't find my way home no more. And I'm going to be educating people on doing this as well. And there are some of you who talk better than me, who are smarter than me. You know, no one's better looking than me, though. Some of you are smarter than me. You are, I always use that good looking stuff just to piss people off when I do that. But all I can tell you guys is that this is, some of you, I think you would flourish doing this. And I was telling someone that I'm recruiting right now, just get the damn license. You know what? And introduce me to people. I don't know everybody you know. You don't have to tell them a damn thing. You don't have to say anything to them. I'm going to do the talking. We'll set up seminars. We'll do stuff. You don't have to do nothing. You just be the referral agent and get 50% of everything. And when that person gets their license and they start balling, shark calling, they're going to say, thank you, H. Give me the biggest hugs. So what I'm trying to say here is this. There are strategies you can use to supplement your retirement. Let's talk to, I want to talk to younger people, but I have a better rapport with older people because I'm an OG. You know, I'm trying to recruit some young people who can talk to people their age. You know, we spend so much time on social media. I know I do. I spend an exorbitant amount of time on social media doing nonsense, a lot of BS, watching reels and liking posts and watching videos. I do that. I need to spend more quality time finding more qualified people. And what I do, when I put my stuff online, I have a client that I did something for last week. They've never watched Tuesday with Terrence. They'll never watch it. But guess what? They trust me explicitly. They contacted me and said, can I get an appointment with you? Because they know what I do. I'm not a secret agent. Folks, you don't like my big mouth? There's a young lady watching right now. Her name is Felicia Fifi. She's licensed in multiple states. She'll get licensed in the state that you are. You don't like my big mouth? I'll put you in touch with her. She'll help you. There's some others on there as well. Peaches Goodwill, you know, she's on there too. She can help you. You don't like my big mouth? I'll pass them to you. As a matter of fact, one of my high school friends called me. Oh, Brandy Hubbard is on there. You know, you're in the DMV. You don't like my big mouth? I talk too much. I yell. Someone told me one time, someone told one of my sisters that, you know what, I want to work with him, but I think he'd put my business out. Let me tell you all something. I have a fiduciary responsibility to protect your information. I do have a big mouth, but I don't put your information out. But you think I have a big mouth? I'll put you to Brandy Hubbard. She's the sweetest thing in Chesapeake, and she'll take care of you. I don't care who you do it with, man. I prefer it's me, but I don't care who you do it with. I just want you to do it so that when life happens, you're good. Your family's good. You got living benefits. You've eliminated debt, and you have a legacy creation for your children and your children's children. What does the Bible say in Proverbs? A good man, not a man like me, but a person, man, woman, boy, or girl. A good person lives an inheritance for their children's children. So when I become a grandparent, boom, I'm going to make sure my grandkids have these concepts as well. You guys can do it. The show is called Tuesdays with Terrence. It's 8 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. I'm getting a spam call. I'm going to decline it. Say, can I call you later? I love to do that to spam calls. But you know what? My name is H. Terrence Bardui. Some people call me H. Some people call me Havis. Some people call me Terrence. Some people call me Mr. Bardui. Some people call me Little Boy. If you're from 767 Whitey Kubuli, the Commonwealth of Dominica, tall is her body. You call me Luca Boy. Dominica made me. Boston raised me. Now the South sustains me. Folks, let's do this. You don't want to talk to me? Come in my DM. I'll pass you to one of my colleagues. I've done that before, and I'll do it again. I just want to see you all good. What I don't want to see you in my DM is sending me a GoFundMe because somebody got cancer or something happened to a family member. Because then my name is Bennett and I ain't in it. I ghost you like a you know what. I almost cursed. But the key is this, folks. You can do it. God bless you. I'm going to play my theme song. Hasta la vista, babies. Thank you for tuning in. Until next Tuesday. Next month, it's August. I'm going to start having some guests coming on my show, to mix it up a little bit for y'all. Plus it's summertime. I'll be doing some traveling as well. No GoFundMe, Fifi said. We retired that bad boy. We retired that bad boy, that BB, that bad boy, that B. We retired that. No more GoFundMes. Oh, there we go. Let's turn it on. Let's start it over. I want you to hear it on the speaker. There we go. Dominica made me, guys. Good night, everybody. Like and share if you like what you heard. Boom!
Dominica made me. That's where it all began. Island breeze, coconut trees, the heart of my plan. From the hills and the smiles to the songs of the seas, that island spirit molded the person I'd be.
Good night.
Boston raised me with its hustle and grind. City lights shining, dreams intertwined. In the heart of this town, I found my way. A licensed financial pro.
That's me.
Ready for the fray.
Ça c'est moi. That's me. That's me. Good night, everybody. God bless you. I love you. Mwah, mwah. Peace.
On those snowy streets, learn to stand tall, navigating life, every rise, every fall. From the commons to the brownstones, I made my claim. With every lesson learned, I embraced my name. Boston raised me with its hustle and grind. City lights shining, dreams intertwined. In the heart of this town, I found my way. A licensed financial pro, ready for the fray.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I love you, even though I don't act it sometimes.
Now the South sustains me with its warm embrace, a community of strength and love in every space. From the bayous to the beaches, I found my place. In this journey of finance, I've learned to chase grace. Dominica made me, Boston raised me high. The South sustains my soul as I reach for the sky. With every sunrise, I'm thankful and free. A licensed financial pro, just being me. So here's to the roots that shaped who I am. From Dominica's beauty and Boston's Grand Slam. In the South I stand strong, with purpose and pride. Together with my journey, side by side.
Good night, everybody. God bless you. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, I'm a licensed financial pro. But if you don't like me, I got a ton of colleagues I can put you in touch with who will help you. They're way smarter than me. They're not better looking than me, though. Peace. Good night. I'm out. Hasta la vista, babies. Thank you for